Hello YouTube and welcome back, it's me Fruguru, and today we're doing episode 3 of the B tier unit series. We're starring Tyrrell right now, and so far, we've just talked about why we want to build him, what we expect from him. On our journey we've kind of realised that he's going to fill a slightly different niche that we were originally planning for. He's going to be less tanky, but he is going to be a good frontline bruiser. We put him very underbuilt into the EX stage, and he was able to take a lot of hits from the enemies, but he did go down at the end, right at the end, but he managed to save our team. Our Mediana, who would have gone down very easily, was able to stay up because of him. So he did his job, but ideally we don't want units dying, that's not where the story ends. So let's take a look at where we're at now. At a glance, it probably looks like I've done nothing at all. His level, I think, last time was 64, so we've only gained, like 7 levels or so on him since last time. But levels, they don't really always mean everything. Sure, we got a few extra stats, but where we've really done the work is on, you'll notice, we're fully awoken now. And although my knight job is still level 5, my Viking job is level 12, and my Lancer job, level 7. And the reason why I've focused on these and I've gotten to these particular levels is because this allows me to open up the skills on the tree that I want for the build. So I've had kind of limited resources, to be honest, after working on other characters. So this is about the max value I could get without having to go and farm too much for stuff. And because of this, we'll go into the abilities. Before I pop in there, I just want to say I had a user called Peanut Punch on the previous video who wanted to look or learn a little bit more about what we're doing with the abilities and why. So shout out to you. I'm going to take a look at that now, and I hope it'll be a bit helpful. So into the abilities, you're going to see straight away that we've got a lot more unlocked than we previously did. There are a lot of things still to get, but they don't really matter for us right now. They're their need or their wants, they're not needs. So before I go on to the individual skills, I'll tell you just a bit about how I look at the job tree in most circumstances. I pick the job class that I'm going to be using in most content, or for leveling and farming with, and I invest in that. I don't believe in investing all the points into one skill. I think that's a bit of a waste at the start, especially when you're really strained for JP. So what I like to do is I kind of pick 4 or 5 useful skills and passives, mostly passives, and then I kind of, maybe 2 skills that I'm going to use, which is exactly what happens on this build. So the first one I took was HP up 1. And I leveled this to 11. I tend to get them all around the same level, so next I'll get them all to about 16 or so. And the reason why we took this was because we wanted him to be kind of tanky, or at least work in the front line. We don't have great gear for him, so this kind of makes up for that. And it's not giving us too much, but it's a little bit extra. Viking lore, of course, we kind of loved this as soon as we saw it. HP and attack, really, really juicy, really, really good. So we've taken that, and we're eating it right up. And then we've also gone for the Viking buff here for 3 turns, which is attack and defense. Again, 2 really good stats in this unit, especially what we're going to be looking to use them for, so that's really, really nice. And then for our actual attacks, we're looking at Drain Cyclone. We're doing this because it gives us a little bit of sustain. If we're surrounded by enemies, we kind of top ourselves up while we're waiting for a healer to come in. So that's going to be nice. And then our bread and butter skill for this, which is going to be Launch. And you probably know Launch from Yerma. Really, really strong skill. And most importantly for a unit like this, look at that area or fields of attack. Very juicy again. Really, really nice. Kind of fixes the problem that he has where if he isn't up in the front, he can't do much. So this is really good. Juicy, juicy, juicy. Like it a lot, and you're going to see it do some decent work when we take it into testing. Again, only level 12, haven't portal points, lots of room to grow. And finally, I do use my extra points then to get the raw skill nodes. You'll notice that I've prioritized the defense, HP and attack nodes. That's because on this unit we're going to see those kind of impact our play straight away. Whereas these ones here, you know, they're pretty expensive, 225 each for what I have right now. I'm not going to feel these if I add them to the build. We have low dex and luck, so yeah, when we have good units and, you know, we're fully rezzed with a nice Awoken Esper, then these will be nice for min-maxing, but they're not going to do a lot for us right now. And finally, I can't get the Knight skills due to job level, but that's fine, I'm not going to be using them. And the Lancer skills are also off the plate for now, but again, don't need it right now. So with that said and done, I think we're going to come out of this. I hope that kind of clears up a bit on what we're doing with the job tree, or the ability tree. And let's take him into the simulator. So if you did watch the last episode, you'll remember that we made this ragtag team of terribly optimized units. We're trying to pretend we're like a new player or something, you know, or a really super casual player. Our player doesn't really care that much about the game, you know, and they're just, you know, they're just going along. They enjoy just fecking around in it, and they still want to do the events and stuff. So we're basically, I think that's basically where people who have the character. Oh, sorry, my cam's gone a bit funky. People who have the character and are going to be spending time using him, like around these levels for a bit, are probably the people who are actually going to need him to perform well around these levels. You know, like a lot of us will rush a character like this up to 99, but he'll never see use till he's actually pretty much fully built. He'll just be carried by a leveling team. So won't go over this team again. You can see episode 2, but basically just know that there's no UR cards. We're not allowed TMRs. Most of the weapons are crap, like 40 magic, plus 10 Capella with 22 attack. You know, that's what we're working with here, all really low. Levels all at a point where they're pretty obtainable, you know, if you've been doing a bit of work on them. Nothing too crazy here. And as the same as last time, I do not have a suitable 5th slot, so I'm going to try and grab that Ramada we used last time, so bear with me. So here we go, Ramada, kind of like the rest of our team, she's got a really bad weapon. She's not really optimized at all, so she fits right in around the same level. And again, we're going to be using our Tyrrell as a tank. We've got to pretend our actual tech's down or whatever, the element's really against him, so we're slowing him in. We will realistically be using him as a frontline kind of bruiser, so we want him to get hit a good bit. But again, not very optimized, but we do have the changes over last time with the jobs and abilities. So let's see what happens here. Now, just a word of point, I guess, really good to use an Ayaka if you have one for a team like this when you can't like kind of one-shot everything or multi-AoE clear. It makes a hell of a difference. I didn't want to put one as the friend because I feel like that's kind of cheating. If you don't have her, then, you know, what's the point? You're not going to want to select a companion each time you want to auto-farm this. So again, Mediana opens up, she can't kill the 2 units. She's just not strong enough. We do manage to snipe him, and we should have a pretty clear go at this. So I guess last time what happened was Tyrrell didn't really do much, but he soaked 3 hits in a row. 2 of them chained, they were missiles the last time, and it didn't do too much damage to him. He was pretty tanky, and then he kind of baited out a lot of attacks after that because of his lowered health, and he worked pretty well. He did die at the end though, so I guess the immediate improvement is does he survive? So that's the double archer chain again. But notice this time our agility is a bit higher, so he's actually gone and one-shot with launch the guy who was going to attack him. So that's really cool, really nice to see. We do get a sidewinder here that doesn't kill either enemy, typical for this type of camp, but our Mediana clears up, so that's nice. Our units take like maybe a couple shots each, but they're not really being focused. Tyrrell still has 2 units over there, and he's getting attacked by the Righton from behind, so that's quite nice to see. Again, not really losing much health. And this time able to actually one-shot enemies. That's his auto attack there, half the enemy health. You know, it's not that impressive, but you know what, if you're not one-shotting an enemy with an auto attack, you may as well be doing half of it in most situations, because you know, you either one-shot it or you two-shot it, so I'm not going to punish him too much for that. That's not what, he's not an Orlando, that's not his job. So we clear through that pretty easily. This time Tyrrell has half his health. He's able to do a lot more damage to the enemies. He's a lot more reliable. It was a much cleaner run. And it just shows, even though it's just a few levels, because we invested in other areas, we're doing quite well with him there. He's got a little bit stronger again now. So really nice. Coming along well. he is a decent unit. I think accompanied by a tank, he's going to be really, really strong. You're going to be able to run back with your monitor, your angle, to the back line if you need to heal him up in an emergency or whatever. You can't keep him there, and you're going to be able to keep this guy in, and he's going to soak a good few hits, and he's going to take a few enemies with him as well, and you're going to be able to tank swap again if content like that ever kind of comes out and you need it. I've actually come up against a few instances in the tower where there's always a few alternative strategies you can take, which is really cool, but one of them is kind of a tank swappy strategy, so I'm definitely going to try that out when the tower comes back. I'm quite looking forward to it, and so I'm pretty happy so far. I think the next step is we get a few more levels on him, a bit better Esper resonance. We are still at level 4, and the Esper isn't awoken, so lots of work to do there. And once we do the next kind of chapter, when he's got all that, maybe a bit better gear, we'll get a real feel for how he's going to work in the end game. We will eventually do a maxed out 99 review, which will be separate to the series, but it will be sitting there. So basically, with that said, we probably need a new unit to kind of look at soon in the next week or so. So if you have any suggestions or any B tier units you want to see, maybe you started leveling them up and you want to know if you want to continue, hit me up in the comments, give me a shout, let me know, and I'm open to suggestions, so let's have a bit of fun, even if you think they're really crap or whatever, let me know, it'll be good. Alright, so yeah, listen, cheers for tuning in, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, bye bye.